resolution of land issues in Kenya has often been associated with issuance of title deeds. Such characterization often overlooks the bundle of rights associated with access to land. The traditional land cadastre has majorly focused on ownership and does not capture the complex relations between the people and the land upon which they reside. In informal settlements, residents interact with land as a production space and as a space from where people can access various rights.
You have to describe the land question in Kenya in the way it is intertwined with the nature of our democracy. That is that the colonial administration dispossessed people of land and created a class of the landed and the landless.
Sisi kama wamama tulikuwa kila siku tukilala tuna wasiwasi kwa sababu hujui ni leo ni kesho unaweza kuondolewa kwa sababu kesi ilipoenda kotini iliamuliwa bila kufeva mwananchi yote.
At some point I've been disturbed and I know the laws of the Republic of Kenya. It recognizes people who have lived at a particular place for more than 7 years and I'm 19 years while others have lived here since 1920.
The normative standards that we have for planning or the conventional planning regime hardly recognize these informal settlement areas. In fact, in many of the plans, they depicted them as unplanned blocks. And yet when you go on the ground, you find that there's populations, in fact not just populations, but many citizens who are living in this particular informal settlements who have an equal right to the city just like everyone else.
When we took up the role of implementing STDM, we wanted to move it beyond just being a land administration tool, but as such being a tool that can be able to be leveraged by the communities where they can be able to understand it, use it for their own purpose, and also for the improvement of the living conditions in the settlement.
So we have therefore worked on a model that unbundles the notion and practice of land tenure, which is both a software, a database, and a practice that has been developed under the GLTN toolkit. And so what we've done is to try and deploy this in the areas of Mombasa and Nairobi. And in so doing, we've been able to define the multiple relationship that exists between various occupiers of land and the relationship between also them and the property.
Pamoja Trust uses STDM as a formidable instrument of community empowerment and a sign of attempts to formulate a new fraternity which lays the foundation for a shredded idea of equality in Kenya.
The social tenure domain model is a tool that enables communities to enumerate themselves, enables communities to put their primary data that's necessary for planning into a visible platform where then one can transform or translate this primary data into their aspirations of how they would want the settlement to look like.
So ile tunafanya tu ni kufanya ile kazi ambayo inahitajika, like kufanya numbering, kujua tenants ni wangapi, structure zones ni wangapi, na kuangalia infrastructure vile itakuwa, like barabara, sewage, playgrounds, hizo vitu zote.
Our staff and the staff of Pamoja Trust went through to Kwa Bulo, did socio-economic survey on the same. We are able to know what are the needs of the people of Kwa Bulo. What is the income bracket of the people of Kwa Bulo and the expectation as in land issue on the same. So with the system, which is, we call it the STDM, it has actually been able to highlight the number of people who are there, the gender, and the activities, depending on what we want to use that system with. It is actually giving us the requirements of what we want.
The link here is that a community of interest can be built if the members are able to understand and appreciate their individual and collective relationships.
Katika STDM itakuwa rahisi kupoint, kujua huyu anaishi mahali fulani na hapo ndio kumechomeka. Sasa nyumba yake ilikuwa namba fulani. So akifanya reconstruction ya hiyo nyumba, ni rahisi kwenda tu kurudisha hiyo namba pale. Alafu pia inatusaidia kuweza kuondoa unyakuzi.
While the conventional land tenure framing is primarily hierarchical, this is a determination of who can use what resources for how long and under what conditions.
It tries to relate 4 aspects, which is an individual. Then it relates this individual to a particular resource that this individual may own in a settlement. Then it also tries to link up the kind of tenure that then this individual is assigned to this particular resource. Then it also tries to support this through some kind of documentation, such as ID numbers, birth certificates, issues such as photos. Then it can be able to relate all these 4 issues.
STDM helps you to be counted, helps you to be visible, helps you to be asserted as present. Then we go to the second stage, which is how do we then plan for you? Now, planning here cannot be done using conventional planning protocols. You need a framework that can sort of use the relationships understood under STDM and build them in terms of social functions, political, social, economic, and so on.
In its application, STDM allows for encoding land information management systems, but also in a community organizing, reversing asymmetrical power of relationships between communities and those in authority, and developing a body of knowledge on informality in Kenya.
Mtu mgeni ambaye ametoka ushago na nyumba ilikuwa inamilikiwa na baba yake, ni vigumu sana vile anaweza kujua nyumba ya baba yake ilikuwa wapi. Lakini akija katika ofisi yetu tukitumia STDM tutaweza bora atupatie namba ID ya huyo baba yake. Tukiweka ID number itaweza kutuonyesha nyumba baba yake alikuwa anaitwa fulani. So akitupatia that death certificate tuna attach kwa report. Tunajua nyumba mzee alikufa, sasa imebaki ya kijana fulani.
This has yielded some sense of tenure security. By enabling those particular members of those informal settlements to then get certificates of occupancy, which guarantees you situation and location, because then it defines your location where you are, and it also gives you the confidence that therefore you have some interim ownership opportunity for this particular location that you occupy.
Tumepiga hatua sasa, tumepata hii inaitwa hati kitambulishi. Ile hati yenyewe miliki iko njiani, na uhakikishia iko njiani.
Haki yetu tupawe. Sababu gani tunyimwe? Mtu aweje skota ardhi alozaliwa? Mbona wajivutavuta sheria kuziamua? Ardhi inatokota.
Tumefukuzwa tukaenda kotini, tumezunguka hatujapata uamuzi, mpaka saa hii ndio mpata wale wakuja kutupiga picha, tukapewa jeti vyetu vya kusimamia hapa.
Through the county leadership and the effort from other people, that's Pamoja Trust, assisted with our own lobby as a community, at least now I'm a bit feeling that I'm safe.
We have used a very specific social planning approach, which was entirely anchored on Pamoja's competence with working around the social tenure domain model, and it's been one that has given us a lot of insights into how you can actually socially plan these informal settlements.
And using that model, we've been able to help them to negotiate how they can collectively own various strands of rights on land. And that has helped us a lot in Nairobi, because using the same notion like what we call the sectional property right, we've been able to help people in Mashimoni, which is a slum area in the east of Nairobi, to form a cooperative that collectively owns a parcel of land under the social tenure domain model. In Mombasa, we've also done the same and even gone ahead to offer certificates of occupancy to individuals such that then they can be able to claim various components of that land. So we think that STDM, as we call it, has a potential of arbitrating the various contestations of land ownership and moving the question beyond ownership to land tenure that can allocate varying strands of rights and therefore build coexistence among otherwise competing interests.